turn this on?
Yeah, whenever it's
Okay.
ready.
Oh, okay, okay. So essentially, what I am acknowledging is that this is all going to be an adjustment for us in terms of between now and next November, you may not have the same representation that you, in your district, previously voted for and relied upon. And we're sorry about that, but the lines have to be redrawn because of the way the population has grown in our county. And so if you just keep that in mind, it's not our fault that that has to be done. It's just the nature of redistricting. And with that, let's move forward. Unless you have comments, or you have comments about it. Okay. All right, well, let's go ahead and take a look at what we have now.
So the commission voted to advance map 7 for public comment and discussion. And so after our last meeting, some of the comments pointed out that 15 went further into Fayetteville than I think that kind of the commission maybe had intended for it to do.
Right.
And so the commission made some requests to adjust map 7 to take that part of Fayetteville that was in 15 up to kind of cross over. That was kind of looked like it would be a natural place to start the new boundary. Put that back into JP District 9, but then of course that would mean that would make an adjustment to 15 by doing that. So you have two maps basically. 8 revised is the second 8, I'm calling it, and that, in order to make that adjustment, basically Goshen was swapped for that part, and so the city of Goshen was moved into 15. And the reason I'm kind of skipping over the original 8 that was presented to us, because it had a portion of Goshen, the city of Goshen, that was left in 5, which ideally you would want the whole city of Goshen in one of the JP districts. And so 8R, the revised one that you have on your computer, the maps are, and so the 8R is the one that has Goshen fully in 15. And
Okay,
then
you don't have those printed out, do you?
they are. They're printed. You have, it doesn't say 8R on it. It's just 8. And you know it is correct because if you'll notice, all of Goshen is in 15. It's on your computer as well.
Yeah.
And then in addition to that, that wasn't really the swap we had kind of discussed. Right. We had kind of discussed that portion of 9 to put into 15, and you hadn't talked about moving Goshen into 15. So map 9 represents leaving Goshen in 5 and making the adjustment in 9 to make 15 come closer to the numbers.
Okay.
And Jeff, I'll let you.
Yes, the 8 revised, if you look up in the left-hand corner, it'll say revised. But that mainly affected 5, 14, and 15. And as Jennifer said, that Plan 8 revised had Goshen entirely in 15, which is where Goshen currently is. It's in 15.
Right.
The map 7 that we started with had it entirely in 5. 7R, as you mentioned, the 8, I mean, that affected 4, 5, 12, 14, 15, and so forth.
Sure.
But 9 puts it back in 5, which is where it was in 7, which is the one we started with for review. And again, that change between 8 and 9 is mainly still affects 5, 14, and 15. The population deviation ends up being, on all of these, still under 10%. The estimated range that you've seen on some of your paperwork looks like, oh, well, 9 is now over the estimated top of the original range if you do the 5 over and 5 under the average.
Oh,
But,
gotcha.
but the way you actually figure the deviation is the deviation between your highest and your lowest. Well, your lowest is higher than the base, which means the upper could be a little bit higher than the top of the range and still be under 10%. So either one of these work. The maps that are laid out, you'll see 7, 8, 9, and 8R. They have, all except 9 have the previous boundaries of the House and Senate districts that we previously had. Map 9 shows, we were able late yesterday to put the new House and Senate lines on Plan 9. The House and Senate districts, I think they had well over 200 technical corrections, and it affected every district in Northwest Arkansas except 9.
Of course.
Wow.
House District, let's say 9, or which one was it?
Yeah.
19, I guess. But they addressed some of the issues that we brought up. Others, they didn't. They did address several of them. They didn't address the most obvious one, and that was that stair step down on the Prairie Grove School District boundary. They fixed the House line to follow that line, but they didn't fix the Senate line to follow that boundary. And that's the one we discussed.
Yeah.
Probably, unfortunately, is gonna require about 5 precincts, new precincts for a couple dozen people.
Yeah.
So we've identified several areas on the map based on that, the Board of Apportionment's approval yesterday afternoon, that it might be well to go back and look and see if there's any final adjustments that we could make. If you choose to go ahead with 9, then we can look and see those. I think we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different areas. 8 now with regard to the Johnson city limit, close to the mall, to see if there's some room for adjusting some of those lines to meet the state lines. The state boundaries aren't gonna be effective until the end of December. I don't know about litigation. There was litigation 10 years ago and it didn't go anywhere. But there really any choice but to go ahead from your perspective. So anyway, that's again, 9 is the only plans that's printed out that shows the new House and Senate lines.
Okay.
So the big change between Plan 8 and Plan 9 is Goshen is in a different district in each one.
Yeah.
Jennifer, have we heard from anybody in Goshen or from the JP who currently represents Goshen?
No, all the emails that we have received have been in regards to most 9, and then the preference of map 2 over map 7, and then the different areas of Fayetteville. I mean, a couple of the emails I think have talked about Fayetteville and Elkins, but nothing specific to
That's right.
Goshen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've not heard from the JP that represents 15 currently, but I have sent before each of the meetings our maps and that we are meeting.
Good.
So that, that they are aware of this, so.
Is everybody satisfied that both of these maps, satisfy the change that we were requesting to get, I guess, Mount Sequoia, part of Fayetteville, back into, 9.
Was that into 9?
Yeah, it was, yeah,
That
it looks
was
like
that
it makes
little-
that change, I agree.
That was that little
It does.
squiggly place. I just have a question, and this is maybe just for my own understanding, but on certain places, like on District 6, there's a lighter shading on part of it.
Yeah.
What is that from?
It looks like it's yellow.
Yeah,
That entire district was shown as being yellow until we turned on the darker color underneath showing the city limits.
oh.
Now, that yellow part there is
Is
actually,
that unincorporated?
it's unincorporated, and it was and the subject of an island annexation that passed the Springdale City Council last
Oh,
week.
just,
Oh, that's
yeah.
the
So
one.
it's gonna be
Okay,
green.
Okay, so it will go green. It's
There
green.
we go.
That's the one I
Okay.
had mentioned, the 237
Yeah,
acres.
that's right, I'd forgotten
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
Okay, now, I guess my only concern in looking at map 9, I really like it. I think Elkins and Goshen work better in separate, districts. But, like, for instance, on 6, is there a way, or maybe it's not necessary. I feel like there's too many of these aren't stair steps, but I look down at 10 and there's the stair steps. And those are the ones that, I mean, I guess we can't do a lot about some of those. I just, the nonconformity of the shape sometimes is what bothers me.
That stair step that I think you're looking at in 10
Uh-huh.
follows
Is that the city?
it follows a school district boundary.
Oh, that's right.
So
Okay.
if you straighten that out, that's where
That's
you
where you
create,
get the precincts.
that's where you
Okay.
create precincts
Okay,
that, even though, yes, it would be nice if it was kind of more square.
right.
Leaving that in prevents you from creating small precincts of
Yeah.
small registered,
Yeah.
numbers of registered
And
voters.
would the same be true in 6?
Yes, that's the boundary between Springdale and Fayetteville,
Okay,
north of Lake Fayetteville. The
okay.
one down in that's the school district lines, and that's the Farmington, Prairie Grove city limit line.
Okay. See, that's what I really like, is how it goes straight between Prairie Grove and Farmington, but I guess that's not gonna be the case in a lot of instances. Okay, well,
That was a substantial change on the state house district map.
Oh.
That boundary, if you look on Plan 8 over there, it's got the old, house boundary, and it meanders all over the place west of Farmington. Now it goes straight up, follows the school district line.
And I did have one other email that I received from JP Madison, last night that I didn't get printed out for the meeting. But it talks about, the historic district, removed from 9, but I think it's being put into 12, is that what,
11.
or 11, yeah.
oh,
The historic district, in Fayetteville, and then, the east part of Fayetteville is being taken out of 12 and put into 15, it looks like. So those were, she's got them, you can look on my iPad if you want to, she's got them kind of circled on this map, the areas of concern that she had.
and is that, is she expressing that because those are the areas that she represented?
No,
Or
part of it,
represents, or-
part of it is 12 too, I
Oh.
think.
The-
Um,
Like the southeast part of 12, it follows it follows the House District boundary there. And we looked at that whole section that takes southeast Fayetteville into 12, and there's just way too many people there
Yeah.
to do that. The
Yeah.
numbers
I
just
feel
don't
like-
work.
I feel like 9 has been the biggest challenge or maybe it's 9 and 11 and 12 in terms of, the number of people who are in those districts now that, you move just one street and you've completely rewritten the map, haven't you?
It's pretty dense.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if 12 could stand it, 14 couldn't stand the loss.
Oh,
So it'd be too low,
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.
oh, good
I
point.
see.
I hadn't even thought about that.
That makes sense.
I've been thinking about the high side and, yeah, we don't want anybody to get too
We
far
looked
to
at
the
that
low
east-
side.
We've looked at that east side extensively,
Mm-hmm.
and just the populations of the blocks and the configurations are just,
Yeah.
it could look better, but the numbers just aren't there.
Well, I mean, I don't want to dismiss JP Madison's concerns. How much can we do about that? Your thought?
Pardon?
What
How
is
much
she
can we do
asking
about
for
that?
us to do? That's what
Yeah,
I-
that's a good
I
question.
haven't
What
really
is she
got to
asking
understand
for us to do?
What she wants.
Well, 9 certainly cannot pick up any
No,
more.
it's already.
Yeah.
It's
the one
maxed.
that- It's the one
Yeah,
that's got
it-
us up, really.
It's the highest,
It's the one that shifted
yeah.
the range upward.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So,
I'm not, I think some of it has to do with taking 12, taking that part of East Fayetteville out of 12 and putting it into 15, but I think Jeff just expressed that I
Mhm.
don't know that there would be,
A solution.
a solution to actually try and address that.
Yeah.
And that part of 12 that's kind of gone into 15, I don't know, don't you feel like all of Elkins and that part of Fayetteville is just kind of growing together?
But as things currently stand, 14 and 15 both can't lose too much, and,
Yeah.
Well, I guess this is kind of like what I said earlier. We appreciate the comments. We cannot necessarily heed everyone because the map just doesn't allow for it. And that's not to disrespect anybody's comments. I guess I await the pleasure of the commissioners. Should we go for another map? Should we, what?
Do you wanna look at this map where Jeff has maybe addressed some changes that need to, this is map 9.
You want to send it? Oh, I see, you've got some questions.
He's got some areas on this map 9
Okay,
that do need to be addressed, and I don't know how that will impact,
right.
it kind of creates a little bit of a domino effect when you start.
Well, this is that area that we talked about the other day, isn't it?
Yeah.
That, did you say something
Yeah.
about that being
See.
voting blocks?
See, they came down that creek,
Oh,
Oh, yeah. So you just
came across here.
move that up into,
So
you
they
just take that out.
They just, they took that off.
Yeah.
So
wow.
then instead of coming over here and up, they came up this side.
Yeah.
So, you think we'll be able to adjust that in a
And we
similar way?
We could possibly, yeah.
You would just move this part to
Yeah.
14, right? That looks fine. That's not
Maybe,
gonna throw anything off if we do that.
Yeah, the issue is, course, if you look at the block map, there's,
Yeah,
yeah, that would have been a precinct with 0 people in it, and there would have been one
Right.
above it. But then the question for us is gonna be, well, do we follow the city limit line, or do we follow the house line? If we follow the city limit line, well, I mean, it's gonna be a precinct any way you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because,
yeah.
because one's the city limit line, the other's the house line. Now, we could do a screenshot of the block map itself to show you what's involved here. You know, what the numbers look like right there.
Oh, you mean moving that back over to 12 then?
You know, yeah, we could do a screenshot for you and show you the numbers, so you can
Oh,
see
okay.
what the issues are associated with. We looked at that, but we didn't think there was any way to do that.
Yeah.
And, you got some weird block lines out here. It's not like it's a good grid pattern, you know, out here. And again, 15 and 14, neither one can lose very much.
So is there anything else you would do with these, or
Well,
maybe not?
the house line changed here. See, up here.
Oh, yeah.
They changed it, so we were thinking about, well, you know, what if one of these came over and we followed this line, just so you would have to send a precinct.
Precincts right there.
So it's either bring 4 up, or what about 3 going over?
Oh, yeah.
Is that a possibility? Would it mess anything up? Could it eliminate a precinct? Over here, you know, this is gonna be a precinct anyway. Geographical, this looks a little better following this. This is a school district boundary line though. So that's gonna be a precinct either way you go.
I almost feel like in that instance, to follow the school line, because we know they're zoned now,
That's young.
and
Oh, yeah.
there's gonna be so many new precincts created because of the school districts. Anywhere we can follow a school district line, I feel like it will, in the long run, give us a better precinct map.
Yeah.
In the future.
Yes.
And that's the way I am about the contiguous city limit lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the one we were talking about, right in here.
Oh,
This is actually, this corner down here is part of Fayetteville, this corner up here is part of Springdale. Now, he lives in Springdale. So there's some, but you can't put any of this in the nine can't take it.
right.
So at some point, you have to accept what you got. You can't get what we've said we want, which is for the contiguous lines that are solid to be part of the district borders. So, we may not be able to do anything there, but I was just showing that to you.
We looked at this, you know, well, it'd be nice to follow that. But I think that's the university, and I think that's gonna be way.
Oh, yeah.
This over here, we wanted to look at again, because you see what they did. Here's the proposed,
Oh, I see.
and here's what they ended up with. They came over here and came up. So the house boundary changed there, which,
Is it worth looking at that, or is that just gonna throw it all?
Well,
Good question.
should,
Map 7,302.
yeah, can seven lose to 13? You know, and,
Then,
Well,
seven
again,
could
we
lose a
look-
little bit.
are we on school district?
Yes, that's a school district line.
have that
I
anyway.
think if,
That's what,
That's fine then.
I would stick with the school district line
Sure.
because of the school zones.
I think that's a high priority.
I think that's, we're all agreed on that. The school probably is the better line to follow, even though it messes things up on the state house.
Wouldn't mess with that, wouldn't mess with that. If you looked at anything, you would look at that one and that one. Is that what I'm hearing, kind of?
And this one
Anything
is
else you'd
too
like us to look
dense.
at, yeah.
What do you have here that's
So much.
That's a
circled?
Johnson, that's a city
That's-
limit.
that's-
Oh, okay, that's what
That's Fayetteville
Jim
into the
was
corner,
talking about, yeah,
Springdale's
okay,
up in that corner.
okay.
But that's the, that's the lines that that's there now.
Yeah,
And it, we've got the incumbent within the Springdale.
right.
It's a Springdale address. So it's
Yeah,
the only thing you
that's-
probably could do there is if you wanted to do something with Fayetteville, get it back down here, but then that really starts to
Oh, my
have
goodness,
a
yeah.
It'll push.
domino
Yeah,
effect down there.
right.
And so I'm thinking that if everybody else is okay with it the way it is, I would.
I've always thought that Springdale or Fayetteville should have been annexed. That might have made things.
Careful who you say that around.
Oh, I know. Ah,
Yeah.
okay, well, would you look at that then? And, I mean, I hate that we keep coming back for another map, but,
Well, now that we got the House and the Senate, I mean, you know,
That
take
helps,
a
yeah.
I
final
think
look.
we could do one final look and
Okay.
tweak what we want to tweak.
okay, I mean, I feel like we're getting there.
I think we're close.
So I think the commission does need to decide, is it 8 or 9 that you do prefer?
Okay.
Um,
We need to vote on one of
You
these.
need to vote on one of those to have Jeff make would you call them,
Adjustments.
Jeff, like just the slight adjustments?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, not
Nothing
substantive
major.
changes, just
Where do you
slight
want, where do you want Goshen, 5 or 15?
I want Goshen to be separate from Elkins, that's my
So
preference.
then you'll need to,
Yeah, we need to
to
vote.
vote to see if you want to make 9.
Want to take any public comments here?
No, I don't think that. No, I don't. No,
There's a podium over there, forms for written.
yeah, I think if we have comments, they should be written in email or something. At this point, I will,
You entertain a motion?
entertain a motion on 8 or 9, or,
I move that we move forward with, map number 9, and let him look at the.
with
items
the
that we just talked
adjustments.
about.
That's fine, I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Well, this is not the final map, but we'll get the adjustments on that, and hopefully we'll be on track then. Does that work for you?
Yeah.
Yes,
Does that work for you, Jim?
Sounds great.
Okay. Some resolve, okay. Upcoming meetings, December the 14th is our election. We'll be there in room 115 downstairs.
So we do, sorry to interrupt.
No,
Renee,
go ahead.
We do need to set a meeting for next week
Next week.
for maps, so.
Okay, will
before
we,
you-
will, is that gonna be a timely enough thing for next week?
Yes, ma'am, that'd be fine.
Okay. Let's see. What do we have? Next week is,
6, 7, 8, 9.
I'm having surgery on the 7th.
You got, election commission training on the 9th.
Election commissioner training?
don't we?
No, that's ballot canvassing on the 9th.
Okay.
We,
I'm gonna have to get, I sent you an email asking for
you
clarification.
did, and I sent you the,
And this is the clarification.
no, I sent an email yesterday that had meetings on it, but
Oh,
I'll
okay.
resend.
Is December the 10th too late in the week for y'all?
Maybe,
Okay.
I may have a mediation that day.
Oh, okay. What
Wouldn't-
about the 9th?
I do have a mediation that day.
What's the 9th look like?
Do we have a meeting on the 9th?
We do
No.
not.
I think the 9th is,
There's a
Yeah.
what? No, go ahead.
We have canvassing, but we can work around the
Okay.
good
canvassing.
on the 9th.
Okay, let's do it the 9th. I'm just a little worried. I've got something that's gonna be removed back here, and I don't know how I'm gonna be on the 7th. So,
Ouch.
let's go with the 9th. I should be good by then.
So,
What time? What time works for you?
So we have canvassing that morning at 9. there's 3 ballots.
Oh.
So I think we'll be okay. So we can either do it at like 10, or if you wanted to wait and do it in the afternoon at 1, or
Anytime it's Thursday, I don't work on Thursday.
so
Okay.
whatever, like I said, our canvassing will take 30 minutes, if that.
Well, we could go, is 9:30 too early?
Yeah, that'd be
Would that work for you?
That works.
Jim, that works for you? 9:30, and I presume we'll be downstairs for
Yes,
that.
we'll be back in room
And our,
115.
and our main order of business will be maps.
Okay.
We're pulling for you there, Jeff. Okay, and you've got all the vicissitudes on the meetings here, which take into account all kinds of different options that may be possible.
They do. I just wanted you to
It's a
have,
good, yeah.
to kind of be thinking about these dates may happen, may not. It's like the wait. It's
Yeah.
like we don't know until this happens, but yeah.
That's okay, we've got some sense of it. All right, have we covered everything up there?
Did we approve the ballot for the city of Fayetteville? I know you
Yes,
guys
we
looked
did,
at it and
we
you
did
approved it.
vote
Okay.
and approved it,
Okay. All right.
as Debbie put it together. Any other business? Anybody? All right, we are adjourned. Thanks for putting these out, we didn't use them.
That's okay. In case you
I did,
Did you?
needed them.
Oh, okay.
but I didn't use these.
Oh.